Do you only know gay men?
Well, I don't date gay men.
Well, okay. Well, I you know when you guys be saying that, that's weird.
Why?
Because what do you mean you don't date gay men? Because if he is sleeping with you and sleeping with a woman, he's something.
Well, he's not gay.
What is he?
He's definitely not gay.
He's bi?
Listen, because if a man come in here and he looks at me and you.
Yeah. What is he?
Well, he likes women.
Yeah, because he doesn't know.
Well, and if he does know, he likes women.
Okay.
Now,
but what is he?
Well, that would possibly, it's a possibility.
He's bisexual?
He could be bi or he could be pan.
Okay, guys.
You know, a lot of men are
Yeah.
a lot of men are pan, but they don't say anything. Like
I don't want to run into them. I don't want to date him.
Nene, if you've dated men,
I need you to like
Nene, if you've
Hello
dated
Kitty all the time.
If you've dated men,
Yes.
if you've dated men, there's a possibility in your life that
He's been with a man.
he's been with something.
What do you mean he's been with something?
He's been outside. I mean, here's the thing. I know that women consider trans women men because we were born male. But there's a difference between being man and male.
I get it. But you have your part.
That's correct.
So he can love you and think you're so beautiful, and I want to sleep with you.
There are men who deal with me that won't touch my parts. Anytime you see
But does he know it's there?
Yeah, he knows it's there. I'm not hiding it.
Oh, you're not?
No.
I mean, that
Listen,
wouldn't make any sense.
Well, I've had gentlemen to tell me, hey, put a pillow over that. And I'm like, well, you're not the nigga for me. You don't have to touch it and deal with it, but I'm not hiding shit from you.
So, okay, wait a minute. We got to go back and figure this out.
Yeah.
So the man...
Now we talking.
Yeah, so the man going to be sleeping with me and you? I don't want to talk to him no more.
You don't?
Why the hell you going to sleep with me then going to sleep with you for?
Men like variety.
Oh, please. I don't want him.
Well, shit. I mean, hey, but it's happening.
I'm over it.
But these things, this is what women...
That's why I'm not even dating.
So there's been a little bit of backlash in response to this interview that Nene Leakes had with this transgender woman. I don't know what this person's name is, so I'm just going to refer to this person as the transgender woman, okay? But I'm going to speak on this from the perspective of somebody who is an LGBTQ ally, okay? Let me be very clear. Love is love. Be who you are. Navigate this world in the way that feels most comfortable to you, right? I don't see why people be so personally offended by people's life choices that don't affect them, right? So let me make it very clear to all the homophobes and transphobes who are coming to this video to comment under it just because they hate gay people, they hate trans people. It's not that type of party, right? But I also have to be clear and say that I'm not delusional. Sometimes people who are LGBTQ allies or LGBTQ people themselves take it so far to the point where it don't even make sense. Like we can understand that the issue is not completely black or white and that there can be some nuance to it. Okay, so let's get into this. Now, I will say this, something that I say all the time in real life, and I think I say it pretty often online as well. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. So I don't think personally, right, in my opinion, that there was anything wrong with what Nene Leakes said, but I think she was a little bit rude. And some people are going to come to the comments like, oh, that's just how she is. She's just being real. That's fine. That's still rude. like you do realize that being real and being honest doesn't mean that you are not also being rude sometimes, right? Like, I don't know why y'all think that, like, those things cancel each other out, but whatever, right? I will say this. As a straight woman, me personally, I don't want a man who's sucking dick, okay? I don't care what the person who has the dick identifies as. You can identify as a gay man, as a trans woman, as a non-binary person. Whatever you may identify as, honestly, is not important to me, right? The bottom line is I don't want a man who's sucking your dick, okay? And you can call that man whatever you want to call him. You may call him bisexual. You may call him straight because you may say, oh, well, trans women are women, so he's sucking on dick and balls, but he's still straight. You can call him whatever you want to call him, but again, I don't want a man who's sucking dick. Now, this transgender woman, she brought up a point that I 100% agree with. She said that a lot of men are pansexual, right? And realistically, if you as a straight woman are dealing with the man, even if he says he's straight, he may very well be dealing with something else on the side, right? And Nene Leakes was like, something, right? But we all know what she was referring to. She was referring to, like, something that is not a woman straight up, right? And this I agree with. I had this thought a couple years ago because my friend was messing with this guy. And when I tell you this man was like a sex addict, I'm not even joking. Like, he would jack off at work because he couldn't go 8 hours without nothing. I'm dead serious, right? And then one day I asked her, I said, now you really think if this dude went to jail for 10 years, he wouldn't have sex for 10 years? That's what you're telling me? Like, come on now. That doesn't make any sense. And I think that a lot of these men are gay, but they just haven't acted on it because of societal pressures and because there's, plenty of women, in the world, right? So they don't really need to act on it. But if they was in jail and it was only guys around and, like once you get out, it's only word of mouth, hearsay, oh, I saw so-and-so, whatever. Well, you could be lying, right? Come on now, let's be for real. Now, let me make it very clear. I'm not referring to a man getting raped in jail because some of y'all are going to be in the comments like, what, you're making fun of men who are victims of sexual assault in prison. That is not what I just said at all. Something that I'd be so confused by. Like, it is such a learning experience being a content creator because you can say something and people will pretend that you said something else completely. Like, clearly, based off of what I just said, right? I'm talking about men who, like, are addicted to sex to the point where I don't think they really care which gender they have sex with. They just don't have sex with men because, again, of the societal pressures, the stigmas, right? And the fact that there's plenty of women to, quench that thirst out in public, right? That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about any man who goes to jail and is forced to have sex with another man. That's not what I'm talking about. But I already know somebody finna come to the comment, well, you're making fun of men who are SA'd, so and so and so. Like, that is such a mind-boggling part of being a content creator. Because people be arguing with me about shit I didn't even fucking say. I be like, what are you replying to? Like, I didn't say that. So let me make that point very clear before I move on. Now, let me get back to my point, okay? So, some women say that they don't want to date bi men because bi men are more promiscuous. They might cheat on you. Have y'all ever dated a man, period? Like, all these niggas cheat. I'm going to tell you that right now. The bisexuality is not the determining factor. I will tell you that right now. All these niggas is cheating. Gay, straight, bi. None of these niggas is shit. Let me be very clear about that, right? But I'm going to tell y'all again the truth. I don't care if the nigga cheat or not. I don't want to date a nigga that like niggas, okay? And we can sit here and write think pieces about it if we want to. That's fine. I'm still not gonna do it, right? But also, I have to say this as well because I have a bisexual friend, and I asked him before, right? I said, what if you married a woman, right? Because, he's bisexual. He has sex with men, right? I said, if you married a woman, would you want her to, like, peg you, because, like, you enjoy that, right? Because you do that with men, right? And he said, no, I wouldn't want that because, like, fake dick is not the same as real dick. And he right about that, okay. But that's another story for another day, right? But then I was like, okay, so, like, would you just miss dick? And he was like, yeah, I would. And it's like, I don't think I want to marry a nigga that's missing dick. Like, and I'm not mad at him for missing it. I'm not mad at him for missing it because, baby, I be missing dick sometimes, too. Like, let's be for real, right? But realistically, though, it's fair to not want to deal with somebody who likes your parts and other parts because you'll never be able to give them everything that they're craving. Now, let me add some nuance to this because, like I said earlier, I feel like a lot of people take a very black and white approach, but it's not that simple. Some trans women really look like women, right? So if a man sees somebody who looks like a woman and he's attracted to that person, that's not gay, right? But when you learn that individual has a dick and balls and you're like, yeah, I'm going to suck them, well, then, yes, you're homosexual. Like, let's be for real, right? Now, a lot of people be doing, like, gotchas. They'll show a guy a picture of a trans woman and be like, oh, do you think she's pretty? And then the guy's like, oh, yeah. And they be like, oh, nigga, you gay. Oh, that's actually a man. Well, if the person looks like a woman, then how is a man gay for not knowing that person is a man and saying, oh, yes, that person is attractive? Like, what are we talking about here, right? But then this is the other thing, right? There shouldn't be any shame or stigma around being gay. Okay, nigga, you suck dick and balls. That's fine. Do that shit openly. Now, I'm not going to date you, but I'm also not going to shame you. Not me personally. And I know that I am the minority in that sense because a lot of women will shame you, right? But I don't get all the secrecy and the stigma, but yes, I do. Because again, men will be shamed for that. Like, y'all, let me tell y'all, I seen the video on Twitter and somebody about to be like, oh, that popped up in your algorithm because that's what you were interacting with. It's for damn skippy not what I was interacting with, bitch. I'll tell you that right now. I don't know why this popped up in my shit. maybe somebody I follow reposted or something. I don't know. But it was of what appeared to be a woman, like twerking, right? But this individual had a mini skirt on, and the dick was hanging below the mini skirt. Like, the dick was just flapping while this person was twerking. I was like, what the hell? Like, y'all. It was concerning. But I will say this, right? As a straight woman looking at simply the dick, I was like, oh, well, that's a decent dick. You know what I'm saying? But then you see who it's attached to, and it's like, yeah, no, I ain't with that, right? So I understand that if you get caught by surprise, then you might be, you might get caught lacking, right? Like, if I simply seen the dick, I'd be like, oh, okay, hold up now, I ain't mad at that, right? But then I see who it's connected to, and it's like, right? So same thing with straight men. If you see what appears to be a woman, you're like, oh, okay, I like that, right? But then you see that dangling dong swinging back and forth, then it's like, yeah, nigga, you gay if you continue to pursue that. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with being gay, but I'm just confused. What confuses me is why we're so hell-bent on pretending that shit ain't what it is, right? Like, this trans woman was talking about, oh, a guy's not gay for messing with me. You got a dick. That nigga's gay. Like, what are we talking about? But for some reason, we have to pretend that shit ain't what it is. Like, realistically, I understand that you identify as a woman, right? And like the trans woman said, she said, oh, like, yeah, a lot of women consider trans women to be men, and so and so and so, but it's the difference between being a man and being a male. And I mean, I guess we can sit here and be real fancy with the terms and stuff, but nigga, you got a dick. So like, if somebody's sucking your dick, then that individual, if that individual is a man, is gay. Like, why again do we have to be so fancy with the terminology and shit? Like, I'm sorry, but shit don't need to be as complicated as we be making it out to be. That nigga sucking dick, so that nigga gay. It don't matter who the dick is attached to, or what you feel, or how you identify, or what pronouns you use. That nigga's gay. Now, this conversation could be even more nuanced, okay? Because some trans women have gotten bottom surgery, right? And a lot of people claim that bottom surgery for trans women is very convincing, that the vaginas look like real vaginas. Now, I wouldn't know. Wait, I was about to say I've never seen one, so I wouldn't know. But wait a second, y'all, because, I made a video. This had to be about like a year or two ago, right? I was on an adult website, right? And I was not on the transgender section or the LGBTQ section or nothing like that. I was looking at straight videos, heterosexual videos, right? And I saw a video, right? And when I saw the bitch coochie, I was like, hold up, right? And I was like, I don't want to body shame nobody, because y'all know when I was growing up, people were constantly posting about, oh, dark skin pussy look like this, and they post a picture like that little small black bald animal that had bumps on it and shit. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't want to put down how anybody's vagina looks, because, nobody can help that, right? But when I looked at that vagina, I was like, hold up, wait a sec. That don't look like a vagina. That looks like a ball sack. That looks like a refurbished ball sack. I'm not even joking, right? Like, that didn't look like a vagina. So then I went and I looked that individual's name up. And indeed, that individual was a transgender woman, right? And I was able to clock that just looking at the parts. Even though it was in the heterosexual videos, that did not look convincing at all. Now, granted, maybe bottom surgery is like every other type of surgery. Maybe your shit can get botched. Like, look at Cardi B's BBL. Look at Nicki Minaj's. Both of their booties look a damn mess, right? So maybe that's just a bad example, right? But yeah, I'm gonna call a little bit capitude on that one. Folks be talking about, yeah, it looks really convincing. After what I seen, what I saw, oh, no. But let's pretend that it did, right? Let's pretend that, bottom surgery really looked convincing, really looked like vagina. Well, then we could offer some more nuance, because this person looks like a woman and has a convincing vagina. So, like, can you really call a nigga gay for fucking with this person, right? But, we not even talking about that. We talking about y'all niggas with dicks, dick hanging down to your knees. You talking about, yeah, nigga straight for fucking with me. Come on now, pal. Like, let's be for real. Again, let's be realistic. We can encourage people to be themselves and to love who they love and all of that stuff, but we can still be realistic. And honestly, as we encourage people to be themselves, yeah, we should encourage people to be themselves, not to pretend to be other people. So as a trans woman, no, you're not a woman. You're not the same as a woman. That's just a reality, right? You're a trans woman. That is a unique thing with a unique experience, right? So why are you pretending that you're the same as a woman? What are we doing here? you're not a woman, and that's okay. Why not embrace who you actually are and your unique experience, right? And I mentioned this in a video before. I don't know if it's still up or not, because I go and I delete old videos at some point, right? But I was talking about how trans women be talking about they get periods, and it's not all trans women, but it's enough to where, you know, y'all need to be told to shut the hell up, right? And not only were they saying they get periods, they were saying they get period cramps and stuff, and it's like, how do you get a period with a dick, first of all, right? But then, how do you get period cramps and you don't have a uterus? Because period cramps literally come from your uterus contracting. Like, they're like mini contractions, right? So, how do you, like, what are you talking about, right? But you sitting here going so hard to pretend to be something that you're not. And honestly, you're cursed to be miserable for your entire life. You really are, right? Until you can come to terms with the fact that you're not a woman and you have an experience that is unique and separate from the woman's experience, and come to terms with the fact that, yes, if a nigga is sucking your dick, he not straight because you're not a woman, right? Women don't have dicks. We can say that, right? You're going to be miserable with who you actually are. And that's what I'm talking about, how we can encourage people to be themselves and love who they are while also being realistic. I'm totally for you living your authentic self. Do what you want to do. Dress how you want to dress. Navigate the society how you want to navigate the society, right? But I'm not going to pretend that you're the same as me. I'm not, right? And you shouldn't either.